Okay, number 5 on the podcast. Right, a few changes to the way I'm going to be recording these in future. Get rid of that cursor. So, I've tried doing this with a new webcam that I bought. And long story short, don't buy a webcam off eBay and certainly don't spend 20 quid on it and expect it to be good. That thing is fucking terrible. So, then I've tried using my camera, and basically what happens with the camera is it's a DSLR, not a video camera. So you basically get like about half an hour before it just shuts itself off, and then you don't realize it shut itself off. So you're just talking away to yourself for like fucking 2 or 3 minutes, then the camera just turns off. So that's not good. So I'm using the shitty bog standard webcam that came with the laptop. It doesn't look too bad, but it could be better. And I'm just using my Zoom H1 to record it, so that the audio hopefully sounds half decent. So that's how I'm going to be doing these in future until I can be asked, until I can actually justify spending a bit of money on a good webcam. If it's not getting the views, I'm not going to fucking waste money. So if you want better picture on the YouTube version of this, fucking tell your mates to watch the fucking cunt, and then I'll end up buying something decent and I'll look better, look more pretty, hopefully. Right then. So, yeah, I'm also going to change basically, like, I've always tried, like, in the previous ones that I've done, I've tried having, like, a moral of a story or whatever, but basically I don't always have anything insightful to fucking say, and I do want to try and make this a weekly thing. So I'm just gonna fucking bullshit about the week that I've had previously. So here we go. So last week, on Wednesday, was the first Liverpool Barbell session. Myself and George McLaughlin, are running that, and we had 4 people training, and we had 6 people actually turn up, 2 of which are competing next weekend. So like we were testing people, so we didn't want to basically have them doing anything too strenuous when they've got their own programs that they're running off. Both people that turned up who weren't training are running my Lift Like Screamer program. I've just realised I'm fucking looking at the screen and not the camera. This is fucking weird. Anyway, yeah, they were both using my Lift Like Screamer program, so they're in good hands. They've got a good program. I think they're going to be doing pretty well when they both do go and compete. One is competing at a Northwest comp. The other is competing in the bench only at Body Power. I won't be able to coach her there because of conflicts within the federation. I respect the rules of the federation. I double checked with our, I don't know what you call him, chairman, I guess. I double checked that just to basically make sure I didn't want to go and run her numbers and find out later on that I'd like broken some rules and stuff. Turns out if I did go and do her numbers, that I would be in disrepute, and I could face a ban, so I won't be doing that. Honestly, I think we've got to stop with shit like this. Like, I mean, I do understand from one perspective where, like, I could be going against people who are facing a ban, people who take drugs and all this. But I mean, just because I go and represent somebody who's competing in, and she's, to be fair, is competing in the drug-free side of the BPU, so that's how it is. It's like, you've got the BPU and you've got the ABPU. And my understanding of it is the BPU is non-tested and the ABPU is drug tested. But honestly, all this fucking IPF, GBPF, USAPL not being allowed to fucking mix and all this, like, honestly, I think it's got to stop. Like, what happened to being innocent until proven guilty with the likes of fucking drug testing and all that sort of stuff? And honestly, like, at the end of the day, people just want to lift. Like, I don't really think it's that big a deal. Like, strong is strong. Now, if somebody lifts 300 kilos and they're drug free against somebody who lifts 300 kilos and they're not drug free, it's still fucking strong. Now, obviously, the drug free guy is more impressive, but it's still impressive. And I just wish we could just, like, at the end of the day, the way I look at all this sort of stuff is, unless you're a powerlifter, nobody gives a fuck about powerlifting. And, like, for that very reason, we should all be fucking banding together, and we shouldn't be trying to, like, segregate ourselves within the sport. We should all be trying to pull together to make powerlifting more popular, a more viable option. I think we could all do with being a bit more honest about it. Like, like, if you do take drugs, just fucking admit it. Don't try and fucking cheat the system. Compete where you're meant to compete. And I think the sport as a whole will be better for that, rather than us having fucking little bitchy fights about different federations and who's taking what, who's cheating. Just fucking let's just try and get powerlifting established before we start branching off and saying who's fucking better than who. Because, like I say, nobody outside of the world of powerlifting gives a fuck. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Didn't even plan to speak about that, but I think it has to be said, and I think it's going to take somebody. I don't want to say that I'm high up within the IPF because they don't give a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. But it's going to take somebody who's not arsed about speaking up about this shit to actually get things moving. Like, it's a bit bullshit that I'm not allowed to compete in other federations. Not that I particularly want to, but like, like, I would like to go and test myself against some of these people who take drugs. I really would. I think I'd do fucking well. I think I'd hold up well. Certainly on a national level. Internationally, I'd probably get smoked. But on a national level, I think I could do fucking well. And it'd be nice to go and do that and just show that, like, there are some fucking strong people out there who don't need to take shit. I just thought of something really fucking good. Right. This is what I want to know. Now, I saw the other day. Now, there's a rule in the IPF that if I compete internationally for another federation, and I believe it's regardless of whether there's fucking testing taking place or no testing taking place, if I compete internationally in another federation, that I'm ineligible to compete for the British powerlifting team in an IPF competition. However, I just saw the other day that Dennis Sierri won his 31st world title or something like that. Now, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like late 30s, early 40s, something like that. So, if he's just won his 31st world title, bench press only world title, then how has he done that in the IPF only? He must have went in other federations, won all these world titles, but he's still being allowed to represent USAPL in the IPF. So, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. Please tell me if I am wrong. And I don't mean this as any disrespect to Dennis Sierra, because I don't know the guy at all. It just seems to me that if he has won these world titles in another federation, that it's a bit of a fucking double standard. God damn it, my voice sounds horrendous. I sound like fucking Barry White with a fucking cold. Jesus Christ. So yeah, just, I don't understand that. And I'm not shitting on that rule either. I just don't understand it. And, you know, like, I mean, yeah, I don't get. I just wish that there was none of this fucking, like, because it makes people hate the IPF and some IPF lifters, because they all think that we think that we're above the other federations. And I'm sure there's some people out there who do think that. I'm not one of them. I would like to go and, like, mix with other lifters who take shit, lifters who don't. I'd like to go and meet people who want to do raw comps but use wraps. We don't do that in the IPF. I'd like to go and meet people who want to just squat, just bench, or just deadlift at some competitions. Whereas in the IPF, you've only got 3 lift, push pull, or bench only. And there's only a 3 lift and bench only world championships right now. You know, like, if my bench is going shit, I'd love to just go and squat. If I just want to see what I can hold on to for fucking once, I just like to go and deadlift. You know, but we're not allowed to do these things. And another thing that I kind of take exception to is I don't get paid by British Powerlifting or the IPF to represent them. But so I make my living through coaching, whether that be one-on-one or online. I make my living through coaching. And, you know, like, the girl who's going and competing, she completely understood when I explained to her why I couldn't go out there and do her numbers for her. But, you know, if that was somebody less understanding, I might have missed out on a client. And I don't see why I should miss out on potential clients through this fucking rule that I'm not allowed to go and mix with people from other federations. You know, like, it's a little bit, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. And I don't mean it to come across like I'm shitting on the IPF or British Powerlifting, because, you know, it's just the rules. And, you know, like, I chose to compete in the IPF, so I'm going to abide by the rules wherever I can. But it would be nice to know that there's a little bit of leeway on something like this in the future, where if I get approached by a lifter who competes in the BPU, that I can go and look after them in their first competition, you know. So I think if we want to take the sport forward, and, like, so I've got my perspective on what taking the sport forward is, just like Gaston and the rest of the IPF have their take on what taking the sport forward is, and they are looking for Olympic. They want to get in the Olympics. I still don't know if that's ever going to happen. I would love it to happen, but I don't see why that can't happen. And for people like me who follow the rules, who are trying to make an honest living through the sport, through coaching, I don't see why we can't have both. I don't see why the Olympics can't be an option and I can still go and coach people who are living in the BDFPA, in BPU, GPC, BPC, whatever the fuck it is. There's far too many fucking federations. But, you know, I just think it's something to think about going forwards. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Liverpool Barbell, we had a really, really successful first session there. We had 6 people turn up, 4 of which trained. And, you know, we're going to slowly just try and build that up. There's nowhere else in Liverpool, even in the Northwest, that I know, where you're going to get coached from 2 international lifters in British powerlifting. So, you know, to start off with, we're going to be doing our own sessions where we want people to come in and stick to our format until we get a bit of a format going, and we know what we're doing. We get a routine going. Everything starts running more smoothly. And then after that, if you just want to do your own program and come in for technical advice, get yourselves in. If you're a member of Power and Fitness Gym, it's £5 a session. If you're not a member, it's £10 a session. You don't have to come every week. You can come every week. You can come once every couple of weeks. You can come every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks, whenever you're off work, whatever you fucking want to do. Just come along, and you know you're going to get coached from two of the best lifters in the Northwest. Right, I'm going to run a segment on this every week because the guy's a fucking legend. He's an absolute gimp. But it's Crazy Chris. Crazy Chris from Power and Fitness. He's an absolute fucking legend. I'm going to try and give you a Crazy Chris story every fucking week because he's hilarious. He's the gym gimp, the butt of most jokes. He's got a heart of gold, and I'm going to take the piss out of him every fucking week like I do all the time anyway. But yeah, so basically, he pisses me off so fucking much sometimes. Like, basically what it is, he's lost a shitload of weight, and he's just obsessed with his body. And he just says stupid fucking shit sometimes. He's always getting his cock out for a t-shirt as well, but that's another story. But this one particular story of Crazy Chris. So, I get to the gym, and everybody's hard on him when it comes to this sort of stuff. But it's because he's one of these. He's an asshole. So he'll ask you a question about fitness, nutrition, training, whatever, and then he'll just fucking blatantly ignore it. Or he'll do it for like 2 or 3 days, and then you'll see him back doing the same thing. So, I've got a rule with all this sort of stuff, where if you ask me for something, if you ask me for advice on something once, I'll give you it. But then, if I see you doing the complete opposite of what I've told you, that's it. You're done. I'm not going to give you any more advice on that because, you know, like, I've been doing this for 10 years and it's fucking annoying when you spend a good amount of time helping somebody out and then you just see them the next day just blatantly ignoring what you've said, even though at the time they seem quite responsive to it and quite receptive to it. So, I get to the gym this one day, and everyone's taking the piss out of Chris. And I forget what it actually was now that he was on about. I think we were asking him about his macros and all this sort of stuff. So, we were trying to basically establish, I think he basically said that he felt he was putting on a bit too much body fat. And so we asked him what his macros were, and if he had any idea if he was tracking them accurately and all this. And so I goes to him, right, do you have any idea? So I think he said he was on about 250 grams of protein a day, something like that. And he goes, right, have you got any idea how many grams of carbohydrates and fat you're having? So he rattles off a fucking number. And then I was like, right, well, what sort of food choices are you making? Are you eating, like, you trying to put on some size? Are you eating things like bread, pasta, rice, or whatever? And he goes, I don't really eat bread. I think I'm, like, a little bit gluten intolerant. And as he fucking said that, I swear to God, as he said, I think I'm a little bit gluten intolerant, he pulled out and fucking bit into a rice cake. Oh, God, you fucking idiot. So I was just like, you what? You think you're a little bit gluten intolerant? You're eating a fucking rice cake, you bellend. And then he starts rattling off that he's eating pasta. He's eating fucking all sorts of other gluten-containing things. Oh, my God. But, you know, he didn't think. And then, after that, when I called him out on his bullshit, and I said, no, look, you're blatantly not gluten intolerant. You're eating a fucking rice cake, and you're admitting eating pasta and all that sort of shit. Then he goes, oh yeah, I just don't really like bread that much. Well, just fucking say that in the first place. If you don't like bread, just fucking say you don't like bread. You don't have to pretend that you're fucking gluten intolerant. Oh my God, Crazy Chris, what are you doing? Don't even get me started on his fucking dinners as well. Oh my God, he cooks the worst food ever. He just a lot of the time it just looks like he's just been sick onto a fucking plate and just put a fucking couple of potatoes next to it. Absolutely horrendous. Right, so training's going good. God, I am so shit at segues. I'm gonna get better with this. I'm trying to fucking just do this in a completely new format and I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing. But yeah, training's going good. To date, this cycle, the best total I've hit in the gym is 855. Squatted 310 twice last week. Bench 200 twice last week. And I deadlifted 342 and a half and 345 using straps. Now, I'm using straps in training again. And the reason for that is because I'm fucking dropping shit anyway. So, what I've done, I've started going over to a gym in Manchester once a week. I've done 2 sessions of that so far. And basically, they've got a lot of like farmer's walk stuff and a lot of like just weird shaped fucking grippy things. So I've done 2 sessions on that. So they've got like a big fucking ball that you try and grip and you hang weights off the bottom of that. They've got a big fucking oblong, don't know what the fuck you call that. They've got some thin plate, they've got some thin like sheet ones. They've got all sorts of different like implements that you can do some single arm stuff with. And they've also got farmer's walks that you can attach a shitload of weight to. So I'm just going to go there once a week for 3 or 4 weeks, use me straps in deadlifting because I know that it's working because both times I've done it, in the evening and the next day, my forearms have been pretty fatigued and they feel a lot more solid. They're getting a lot more vascular when I'm training. So I think they're adapting to those sessions. So my theory behind this is I'm not going to know if it's improving the grip unless I go back to the straps in training. So what happened before when I pulled 360? It just kind of happened out of nowhere. I just felt good one day and started pulling it and kept hold of it pretty well. But then it kind of went away. And other than just keeping my hands nice and fucking smooth, I didn't really do much else to that. But it went back to what it was. So if I use the straps for a few weeks, but implement this strongman session, and I've been very inconsistent in the gym with what I've been able to hold on to. Some days I've felt good with 315, 320. Other days, no chance of holding that. And even 300s felt inconsistent some days. So, if I get rid of the straps for a few weeks, do this strongman session once a week, and then have a shot of deadlifting without the straps, and it improves, then I know the strongman stuff's working. Then I can do 1 session a week just using my hands, and the other 3 I can do with the straps, but still do that strongman session at the end of the week. So it's an experiment to test the validity of the strongman work that I'm doing, and to see if it's worth keeping in there, or it might even be worth doing twice a week rather than just the once a week. So I'm gonna see how I am in a couple of weeks with a session. I'll probably do it on the third session of the week on the Thursday, because I do that strongman session on the Saturday. So I might still be fatigued on the Monday, and that might not give me the best chance of holding on to the weight that I can do. So I'll try that on Thursday in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks time, and we'll see how we get on with that. But just the fact that I'm getting DOMs in my forearms and in the muscles of my hands, and like just the improvements in the vascularity and things, I think I'm on the right lines. I think it is working, but I won't know until I try that session out. So, and the worst comes to worst, I'm in the same boat where I'm still inconsistent with weights up above 300 kilos. So I feel it's a low risk, high reward kind of situation where, like as I say, the worst thing that can possibly happen is I'll be inconsistent above 300 kilos, but but I think I'll always keep all the 300. So I'm not going to be in any different situations. So I may as well just keep going with what I'm doing and just hope for the best. So right now, I'm on a deload. It was a much needed deload. I was supposed to go all the way up to Friday on program. Oh my god, but Thursday I was absolutely fucked. My god. So Thursday, I squatted 310. So the way I've been doing my training over the last few weeks, I've been doing my morning session has been squats and deadlifts, having a little rest, either training a few clients or going home, getting some food, whatever it may be. Then coming back in the evening and doing my bench work. And it's been working well. I like training like that. But on Thursday, I did my squats. Did my squat single. And so I did 310. Oh, actually, backtrack. So I was finding it hard getting motivated in the session, and that's always a sign that I'm close to needing a deload. Like I couldn't get as aggressive as what I needed to. It took a long time to get up for the lifts. Usually I would go from like a 270, 275 final warm up and then go straight to like 300 plus. So 300, 305, 310, something like that. So I did 275. It felt heavy walking out with it. It felt like it wasn't as quick as it should have been. It was comfortable, but it wasn't like shit off a stick the way it normally is. Shit off a stick. So rather than going straight to 310, I went to 295, and because I knew it was going to be a bit of a fight, I got a bit more aggressive with that one. Did that went well. Probably even better than the 275. Then I went for the 310 again. Went off me fucking tits. You should have seen the fucking stank leg on that set. It's on Instagram actually. Just a few posts back. Stanky leg. It was fucking hilarious to be fair. But I did that. And then the back off work was sets of 5s with 230. Honestly, just fucking standing up with the cunt was horrendous. So I was like, fuck this. I re-racked it. Rather than just going home. When that happens, I always know that I'm going to be good for me singles, but the reps are going to be horrible. So I just made it a 3-lift session of only singles. So then I benched 200, I deadlifted 345. Then I messaged Mike, told him what happened, and I said I'll go back to the gym later on and do all the reps that I was meant to do. So that would have been something like 230 for 5s on squat, 160, 65 for 4s on bench, and probably about 250-ish on deadlifts. And then, so I was planning on doing that a few hours later in the evening. And then Mike just said, well, do that if you can, but if you don't feel up to that, don't worry about it. We can just deload you early, just to make sure that we hit this final phase leading into Worlds as fresh as I can be. And I went back, had a little nap, and then I was just, woke up, I was fucked. So I just went and hit some, I'm fucking knackered, I've been up since fucking 4:30. And I just went back and just hit some upper body, did a bit of a bro session, some lateral raise machines, some fucking dumbbell inclines, some dipped machine, just loads of different fucking stupid shit. Trying to I think one of my biggest weaknesses is my bench. I look like I should be benching a fucking shitload more than I do. And I just think that's just a case of just, sounds stupid, but adding a bit more muscle to my weak areas, which are definitely my shoulders. Like, my chest is fucking massive, and the shoulders are fucking shit in comparison, so I'm going to be spending a good amount of time trying to hit those and just keep working on getting my fucking shoulders jacked. So, yeah, I feel really good for even starting this deload now. Like, I do feel really good with it. So when we get this deload finished, how long are we gonna have? It's not long till Worlds now. Motherfucker, we're gonna have 6 weeks at the end of this week. It's fucking flew by. I feel like I'm as ready as I'm going to be for it. My hopes aren't that high for anything with Worlds, to be perfectly honest with you. I feel like with the way that I've approached this year, and a lot of it isn't my fault with just, you don't know what's going to happen when your head gets fucking cloudy and all that. But in terms of the actual work that I have put in this year, fucking everybody who's going to finish above me deserves to finish above me. They've all been consistent. They've all been working their arse off. I've spent 2 or 3 weeks every few weeks to months just lying in bed, feeling sorry for myself, being a depressed cunt, sad cunt. I don't really deserve to place. If I do, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna fucking take it. I'm gonna be happy with that accomplishment. But like I've said it a few times, this for me is just the start of establishing consistency and hoping that I can get the full year of training in, so that I can actually showcase what I can do next year in Canada. Obviously, as long as I win the British Championships and all that, I'm not taking that for granted. But that's what it is for me. This is basically about doing the best I can with the shitty situation that I've given myself, because there's nobody else to blame but me. And just hoping that I can come away with something, whether that an individual medal in squat, bench, or deadlift. Probably not. And if I can place in the top 3 on the podium overall, I will be fucking ecstatic. So after Worlds, I'm going to be in Ireland the weekend after with the EPC. Don't ask me what that stands for. I've totally forgotten. It's European Powerlifting Committee or something like that. Conference, I think it is. It's a big conference. So they've got some really good people out there speaking. Bryce Lewis is going to be out there. Brett Gibbs is going to be there. Mike Tuxera, I believe. Eric Helms. Greg Knuckles, I think, as well. So it's only a small thing, and they just want 5 speakers. So they've sorted me out with a ticket to that, flights and everything. And I'm really, really appreciative of that. And he just said it was because of just like the things I've done for powerlifting. And it's nice of them to do that. But like I wasn't happy with going out there and just sort of like freeloading for the weekend. So I offered to do like a Q&A. I'm going to basically go out there and I'm going to talk, I believe, in one of the gyms in the area. And it's going to be free for people who have a ticket to the conference to go along to. And I'm just going to basically just talk about what got me into powerlifting and my life in general, the shit that I deal with my mental health issues, all that sort of stuff. And then I'll just answer any questions that people have got. And you know me, I'm an open book. I'll answer anything as truthfully as possible. So yeah, like I couldn't handle the thought of going out there and like just getting all this shit for free, a free ticket, a free flight, a free hotel. I couldn't handle that. Like I don't like getting things for free. Like I like to do whatever I can for the person who's sorting that out for me, So yeah, if you're going along to that, get in touch with the guys, find out how to pop along on my Q&A. But if it's not that full, I'm fucking walking out. No, I'm not. I'll not do that. Right, what's coming up this week? Well, we got the Deload week. Oh, body power. How can I forget about body power? Ah, body power. I'm going to be excited to catch up with everybody in body power, like people who represent SBD, bulk powders, all that sort of stuff, meeting people who I interact with on social media. Like, it's still going to be weird when people say they're a fan, because I just think I'm a fucking twat. And like, I don't think fan is the right word. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not one of these people who's gonna get up to 20,000 followers and then call themselves a public figure. You know, I'm not gonna buy into my own bullshit. I'm not gonna believe my own hype. I'm not gonna buy into my own gimmick. Like, I'm just a fucking normal, average guy who got good at doing something, and that's it. You know, I'd be doing this whether I had 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 13,000 followers, which I've got right now. I'd be doing the same shit regardless of how many followers I had. You know, like even this podcast that I'm doing. I'm not doing this because I think I'm a fucking big shot. I'm doing this because I don't. I thought therapy was the right thing for me, and I don't know. It's weird. Like, I find it easier putting this out to hundreds to potentially thousands of people because I'm just talking into a camera, and at the point of me saying what I'm saying, I can't be judged. But once it goes out there, I'm going to get judged by hundreds, potentially thousands of people. Whereas if I'm sat in a room making eye contact with somebody, I don't express everything because I feel like this person's judging me. This person thinks I'm a fucking cunt. And I certainly can't do this with friends and family members because, again, like that's even worse for me because even though I know they probably wouldn't be judging, the last thing I want is for me to say something that's going to upset one of my family members or anything like that. So I just find it much easier just bullshitting in front of a camera, putting it out there. And I think a big reason for that is I can take criticism pretty well. You know, if it's somebody who's being a cunt, I'll just call them out and just say, what are you being a cunt for? You know, I'm not arsed about shit like that. I'm really not bothered. So yeah, like that's the reason I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because I think I'm a big shot. I'm not doing this because I think it's going to inspire people, even though people have said that about it. I'm doing it because I don't think therapy works for me, and this is the best thing I can do to actually just get all my bullshit right in my head. You know, like I wish I didn't have to do this to get all my bullshit right in my head, but it's something that I have to do. It's completely necessary to get all that right in my head. So I'm going to keep doing it until I get that bullshit right. And then I enjoy doing it. I'll probably keep doing it. But hopefully, it'll just be purely to just give you a rundown of my week. And nothing else other than that, really. You know? That's just how it is. Okay, so I'm running out of things to talk about. I'm going to be spending this Deload week hopefully being very productive and rolling out my new services. So basically, right now, my coaching, it's suitable to... So, the one-on-one coaching, in terms of a productivity standpoint, it's suitable for everybody. My online, my one-on-one, I can roll with everybody. Everybody will benefit from that. However, there's some people who, if I was them, I wouldn't be able to justify the cost of hiring me as your coach because you could adapt from something that is a bit less expensive. So I'm rolling out 3 packages now where it's going to be a novice package, a contender package, and a champion package. Now, the novice package is going to be the one that the majority of people will be able to benefit from, because it's going to be coaching designed by me, the kind of things that I would get people doing, depending on what level they're at. Let's say, for argument's sake, like you're around about a low 400 Wilks. So I could get you there with that novice program, and then as you improve and that will gets higher and higher and starts approaching a 500, then it would be the case of, right, you might want to start looking at investing a bit more money into this now and going for the contender or the champion package. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to be running this from now on, I think. So it's not all up just yet, but on my website, stephenmanuel.co.uk, there's going to be a rundown of basically what you get out of each of the packages. Prices for the novice is going to be £30 a month. The contender is going to be £105 a month, and the champion is going to be £185 a month. And the biggest difference between them is individuality. So from person to person, the contender and the champion packages will be different. There'll be no individuality in the novice. That'll just be not a cookie cutter, but it'll just be a case of like, you'll get your training over each week. You do that. If you have any questions, ask me. But there's no direct contact and things like that. Everything will be done by either a live Q&A or a YouTube Q&A. Maybe both. I might do it live, but record it and then upload it. Something like that. I'm still putting it all together. And then, so if you need a bit more contact, you want to go with the contender and the champion packages. If you're approaching like a high 400 Wilks, you might want to go with that package. If you just feel that you need regular contact with your coach just to talk about things, you might want to go with that. The champion package. But I'm trying to basically get something that's going to suit all budgets, and so that you don't have to just use me at certain points in the year. You're going to get more out of coaching the longer you do it. But I totally understand that some people might not be able to justify spending that kind of money every single month for the year. So another way you can use this is by using the novice package during an off-season period to keep making gains. And then when you're 8, 12, 16 weeks out from something that you really want to prioritize, then upgrade to one of those programs. Use that, then go back to the off-season. So you can basically just like, you can use any package you want at any point in the year, and just always have that kind of guidance from the one person. I think that's a really important thing to do. Like, jumping from coach to coach is no different than jumping from program to program. So I'm going to program things slightly differently to RTS, even though I'm an RTS athlete. I'm going to approach things differently to TSA. I'm going to approach things differently to Juggernaut. It's so that's kind of, if you go from me to Bryce to Chad, that's kind of like going from strong lifts to Smolov to Mike O'Hearn power building. Just, you don't end up improving because you just jump from one end of the spectrum to the other all the time, rather than having a guided program which just adds little bits once progress stalls. So your program shouldn't look too dissimilar over a 12-month period. It should just be a case of, but you should be able to look at early phases of the program and then look at later phases of the program, and you should be able to connect the dots of each program, each phase, in a logical manner by working backwards from that. But if you're going from 5x5 to Smolov, like, there's no logical progression in between, which basically which got you from this to this, other than you were just like, I feel like something new. And you know, that's a risky thing to do. One, you don't know that this new program's going to work for you because the metric's going to be completely different. You don't know that it's not going to hurt you because small off is a lot more intense than 5x5. You don't know that's going to make you come backwards. It might actually be the other way around, where the first program you did had a lot more volume to it, and then you went to a program that was very similar in intensity, but the volume was so fucking low that you actually came backwards because of it. Then you might go back to that program that you did first, but if you've had too long on the program that wasn't as high in volume, then you might suddenly go to a point where the volume's suddenly too high and you might get hurt. You know, all these things need to be taken into consideration. And that's why you have a coach. That's why you buy into a service. It's not so much for the results. The results might differ. I might get people put 50 or 60k on within the first 15 to 16 weeks of training. I might get people who put 20 on. But one thing that I will guarantee is that I can look at what we're currently doing and then get you somewhere, and then get you a program that's going to be better suited to you to then keep progression coming. And that's what it is. Like, a lot of people are too hasty to leave their program or their coach because they're not finding that that progress is coming as quickly as they want. And that might be because of the program. It might be that your idea of what steady progression is just too much. You know, you might think that because you've improved a lot in the past, that you're going to keep improving at that rate, you know? So, yeah, I kind of rambled on a little bit there. I might have even confused you more than I've actually cleared things up. But basically, bottom line is, I'm opening up my services to accommodate all budgets so that you can have the guidance of me all throughout the year, rather than just picking and choosing when it suits you. So keep looking out for that. SteveManuel.co.uk for more updates on that, basically. Okay, so I think I'm done. 48 minutes of recording. Yeah, so I'm not expecting there to be as many views on a video like this. But if you just want to listen to it, even though my voice is fucking horrendous today, I'm so sorry that I've been getting fucking sick and I sound like shit. But you know, like, if you don't want to fucking watch the YouTube of this because of the video quality, or you just don't want to justify sitting and listening to somebody talk, that's all I'm doing. I'll be uploading this to Soundcloud. You can find the link in the description below. So again, at least you can do that while you're doing something productive, like working or training or whatever. I'm trying to get this on iTunes. It's a bit of a fucking process. I just can't be fucking arsed, to be perfectly honest with you. But I will do that at some point. Right, I've got nothing else to talk about. Okay, follow me on Instagram. It's Screamer Manuel. I'm not currently on Facebook. I have it. I use pages and I use groups, but I don't actually use the app. So if you're tagging me and shit and I'm not getting back to you, I'm not being an ignorant twat. I just fucking hate people's bullshit on Facebook. Everyone's a fucking whining little twat on Facebook, and it just fucking wrecks me head. So yeah, I'm only on Instagram really. YouTube again is Screamer Manuel. Obviously, if you're watching this, you know it. But if you listen to it on SoundCloud, you might not know it. So if you want to subscribe on YouTube, it's Screamer Manuel. Look out for the next vlog, which is going to be coming out on Wednesday. I'm also going to be trying to run Technique Tuesday, I'm going to call it. I'm trying to run that on Tuesday. No fucking shit, Sherlock. I'm going to try and do that every week. And I don't know. Technique Tuesday sounds like a big fucking commitment, because it means I have to do something all the fucking time. No. We're going to call it Just a Tip Tuesday. And it's probably going to be me just talking to my phone on something that might help you in your training, in your nutrition, in just something like that. That seems like a lot less daunting, because I can't be arsed setting my camera up all the fucking time to do that. I could do a bulk video, but I'm not that fucking smart. Yeah, Just a Tip Tuesday it's going to be. So look out for that every Tuesday. And, right, I'm actually done now. Right, thank you very much for watching or listening. Should I get into it? I don't know if I should. Yeah, right, before I go, basically, I had a really fucking shit week last week. And I'm really fucking pissed off about it. So basically, I don't know if it was because of this that it happened, but basically, oh my god, I nearly cocked up a fucking loogie there. So basically, last week on this podcast, I was talking about Heather, and I said, like, I don't understand why people are like asking if we're still together and all that, you know, like, we aren't on each other's social media all the time and all that. We just don't throw our relationship in people's faces. Like, I fucking hate people who do that. And like I said, a lot of the time, the people who do that, more often than not, are the ones who are more insecure about their relationships. You know, like they're putting those constant posts up to try and show that they are strong as a couple, whether it's to show other people that they're strong, or to try and show the other person that they think they're strong, or to try and convince themselves that they are stronger than what they think at that point in time. I don't know. But more often than not, they're doing that because they're insecure about something. And a lot of the time, you just see those posts suddenly stop, and it's because they've broken up. So I don't know if that's just what the norm generally is, and people assume that we've done a similar thing. But no, we are still together, and we're still going strong. But so last Monday, this uploaded at about 6 o'clock, and then about 8 o'clock, I got a text off Heather saying, "Be honest with me now. Have you been talking to any other girls?" And I was like, no. I didn't want to fully commit to it because, you know, like, sometimes you talk to somebody, something gets said, it gets taken the wrong way, and before you know it, they think that you're flirting with them, or you're trying to, like, fucking, like, I don't know, like, you're trying to just do something shady behind your girlfriend's back. So I didn't have the full story, I didn't have the full facts, so I just said, I don't think so, but if you let me know what's happened, then I can, like, give you a better answer. You know, I didn't want to fully commit to something in case I had said something stupid to somebody that could be just taken out of context. So anyway, it gets a few hours later, she says that somebody's contacted her saying that she has screenshots of me trying to arrange a training session with her to see if you want to go for coffee after, that I've been thinking about them and all this sort of stuff, and I 100% have not done that. My God, like, it doesn't always happen. It's very hard to do the right thing all the time. But that is something that I have never done to Heather. I've never done it to any girl previously that I can think of. Like, if anything, my biggest flaw in a relationship like that has been being too honest about stuff like that. I'll give you an example. This is fucking stupid looking back, but I'm still proud of myself that I did this. So I was going out with a girl, I was living with a girl, and while I was in university, there was a girl who, we were fuck buddies, okay? We were fuck buddies. But, like, I've always found myself not really speaking up to people and going through a lot of stuff alone. And we stayed in contact after uni. Like, I was in first year, she was in third year, and we stayed in contact. And like, she got me. She understood like what I was about and all that sort of stuff. Like, it was never gonna work out as a relationship, but like, you know, we were fuck buddies. But she was actually a lot of the time somebody who I could trust to talk to about certain things, because because it wasn't a relationship, it wasn't a commitment thing, and I didn't really have anybody who I wanted to open up to. It was easy to open up to her. And we stayed in contact anyway, as I say. And I was living with this girl. And I was going home for the weekend. She lived fairly close to me back home. And like, because we had this rapport and she'd helped me out with a lot of stuff in the past, and I hadn't seen her for a couple of years, I was like, right, look, I'm going home for the weekend and I'm gonna drop in on a friend, and you should know that while I was in uni, we were fuck buddies. Okay, now I didn't have to do that, and I could have just went back and just said that I'm going to see a friend, and that, like, you know, like, it's just a friend, she's a girl, she's a friend, but not, you know, there's nothing there, whatever. But I would have felt bad, because I would have felt like I was lying to this girl. And, you know, like, she hit the fucking roof, and we ended up breaking up over it. So, you know, like, that's an example of the kind of thing the kind of thing that I do. Like, I would rather, for me, it was important to do the right thing, regardless of what might have happened in that relationship, because if she accepted it, great, I got to see my friend, and I got to see my friend, and I knew that I hadn't kept anything from her, and more importantly, I knew that she trusted me. But because we broke up over it, that was a sign to me that it wasn't meant to be, and that she didn't trust me 100%. And that's something that's important to me, because it's not always easy to do the right thing, but I will always try to do the right thing. So I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit here, but basically, once she said that that's what had been claimed, I knew for a fact that I hadn't done anything wrong, and I stood by that, and I said, look, Heather, when I first said it, when I first said I don't know if I have done something wrong, it was because I didn't know if I'd said something to somebody that could have been taken out of context. But once that was the claim, that I tried to set up a training session, that I was thinking about this girl, I knew it was bullshit, and I stood by that 100%. I said, look, if you can get me the screenshots, then, and send me them, I can 100% say whether I've said this recently or whether it's something that I've said before I met you, and it's just this person who's bitter about, like, the fact that she's not with me or whatever. I mean, look at me, I'm a fucking spectacular human being. So, you know, it might just be a case of, like, it's somebody who's bitter, or it's somebody who just can't accept that I'm happy with somebody and they're just trying to fucking shit all over me, trying to fuck me over. It could be anything. And, you know, like, basically what happened is she contacted this person and just, like, said, can you send me the screenshots? And when she did that, she blocked Heather. So, like, that proves that, like, it was complete fucking bullshit. Because if they had any screenshots that could incriminate me, they would have just sent them along. You know, and like, I'm not going to say who this person was because I just want it to be over with. But this is somebody who I thought I was cool with and I thought I could trust and I thought I was on good terms with. And I don't know why this person has went out of the way to try and fuck me over. Because, like, we don't really stay in touch that much. But I still would have liked to have thought that if they needed me for something, that I would try and help them out, and vice versa. And, you know, it hurts. It really does hurt that this happened. And, you know, like, just, I don't even have any bad feelings towards this person for doing that. If anything, I just feel bad that you're either not happy with what's going on in your life right now, that you need to try and shit all over my life, or you just if something's happened to make you resent the fact that I'm happy, then I'm sorry that's happened to you. But it's not my fault, and it's just fucking bullshit what's happened. You know, and I hope that you are happy. I hope that what you said is true. People listening and people watching this aren't going to understand that. I hope that what you said is true and that you are happy, and that it was just a miscommunication. It was a bit of bullshit. But, you know, like, I'm done. I'm not gonna be able to talk to you anymore, because I'm not gonna be able to fully trust that what I'm saying you aren't gonna try and, like, use against me at some point. And not that we have spoken recently anyway, but, you know, like, it's just a shame. I always try, if I can help it, to stay on good terms. I know that we haven't spoken recently. The last couple of times that I could have spoken to you, I haven't. Just, you know, for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just disappointing more than anything that it's happened. But yeah, you know, me and Heather are still strong. It really tested the relationship. It really did. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really did fucking test the relationship but I just think, and, you know, like, none of us needed it at that point in time. None of us needed ever to have somebody to have the person that you love and care about to hear that they might be cheating on you with somebody else. Nobody ever wants to hear that shit. But, you know, if it was something stupid, like if you were just drunk with it being bank holiday and you fucked up or whatever, then I can't talk to you anymore. If you meant to try and break us up, I definitely can't help you out anymore. But, you know, we're stronger than that. And, you know, it wasn't a nice week. We had a real fucking come to Jesus week where we had to ask each other a lot of fucking serious questions about how we saw things going and all that. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know what I want to happen in the future, but nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. But what happened last week is a sign that we can get through a lot of bad shit. So, in a way, I'm really happy that last week happened, because I don't have any animosity. I don't have any hatred in my heart. I'm over the shit. And, you know, we've got some things to work on. Every relationship has some things to work on. But the main thing is we're going to try. And that's something that I haven't had with previous relationships. When shit's hit the fan, I've just kind of just zoned out of it and tried to convince myself that it's going to work itself out, but not actively trying to do anything to resolve a situation. But with Heather, I want to, you know, so yeah. So if your intention, if you just fucked up, if you were pissed because of a bank holiday and you fucked up, then, you know, I forgive you. If you were going out of your way to try and break us up, I forgive you. That doesn't mean that I want to talk to you again, but I don't have any hatred in my heart towards you, because without realizing it, I think you might have made me and Heather stronger. And I think we're going to get through anything that's going to come our way. So, yeah. Right, that's the end of the podcast. Fuck me, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 23 fucking seconds. Smoke me a fucking kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. I fucking love that saying. Oh, that's going to be a t-shirt one day. I hope I don't get fucking sued off Red Dwarf though. Right, bye.